What's happening, guys? In today's video, I'm going to give you a complete breakdown of my current firearms, what I intend to use them for, and possibly give you some options for your next build. Today's video is brought to us by our friends over at Modular Driven Technologies, mdttac.com. They provide world-class chassis systems such as the one you see behind me. Most of these projects of mine are actually going into MDTs. In fact, pretty much all of them except for a few exceptions that we will discuss. Now, in today's video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of why I decided for specific calibers and what their intended use case is for, and hopefully help you with a future purchasing decision. Now, with that said, I believe it's time to hit the intro, and I'll see you guys on the other side. Now, in order to avoid a 17-hour-long video, I'm not going to spend too much time on every specific firearm. However, if I haven't done a deep dive video on a specific one yet, make sure you are subscribed, because we will be doing that as the channel sort of grows and as these projects come into realization. Now, my very first firearm, technically not a firearm, it's a breakneck Windbuks or an air rifle. I got handed this thing as a very small kid on the farm here in South Africa, and we got sent off into the bush, and evoked in the woods, and we shot birds, thousands of birds, okay? We did eat a few of them, but not nearly enough. Anyway, so I still have this. It's basically memorabilia at this point. I don't shoot it at all. The accuracy is terrible. I potentially will have it restored basically back to its sort of original state. It is still in pretty good nick. And then, that's basically just a legacy piece of kit for me. Now, to make things a little bit simpler for me, I'm going to stick to the items that I currently have in my possession. Now, next up is going to be my CZ455. This is housed in an MDT LSS Rimfire chassis. It's actually the one you see behind me on the wall. This thing shoots absolutely lights out. And I use that for, NRL 22 type competitions. There are also some 22 long range stuff that's coming up soon. And that is such a fun little rifle. Highly recommend if you don't have a 22 Rimfire. So much fun, super cheap to shoot. So all around great buy for me that. Then obviously we can't skip the FX Dreamline you see behind me in the Sabre tactical chassis. Now that's one of the exceptions why it's not an MDT chassis. They don't make one for the Dreamline at the moment. Now, I use that rifle to compete in the Patriot Airgun League, which is super fun. Now, the really cool thing is if you wanted to get into firearms, but you want to sort of try before you buy, if you head on down to Patriot when they do their Air Rifle League, you can actually rent one of their rifles and shoot sort of a mock, NRL 22 type of thing indoors. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy shooting those competitions. Now, next up is my Howa 223 Remington. This rifle has been featured more on this channel than any other rifle I own, and there's a very specific reason for that. Well, there's actually two reasons for that. Three. The more I think about it, the more reasons there are. Number one, it's relatively cheap to shoot. It's not that much cheaper than the center fire stuff. I can also load it on the Dillon, so I can crank out ammo by the hundreds. So that's reason number two. And the reason number three, which we'll get into some of the firearms that are coming next, is over the last year, the police confiscated a lot of firearms that were in the possession of a gun shop that were meant to be transferred to me, and we never really got there, and I've been dealing with that legal matter for a while now. The good news is we're sort of at the end of the road on that, and hopefully, at the time of recording this, there is even a possibility that I get my firearms back this week. So I'm holding thumbs, praying, doing everything. Everything is crossed. Even my legs are crossed at this point in time because it has been an absolute drag. Oh, before I forget, I also still have a 20-inch Howa 6.5 Creedmoor. This was a super fun little rifle for me. I chopped it down. Now, one of my friends has subsequently bought this rifle from me. However, technically it's still on my name because it hasn't gone quite through yet. He works offshore. But this was a super fun little rifle, and I basically just used this as a mess around rifle, a little practice rifle. I didn't shoot it all that much. It was more like a project for YouTube. Okay, goodness, it's getting pretty hot under the studio lights. So up next, I'm gonna have to revert to my wallet and actually go through these license cards, because otherwise I guarantee you that I'm gonna miss some. Now, before we get there, I've got a few licenses in application at the moment, and if you don't know the process of licensing a firearm in South Africa, I've actually done a complete video on that. So if you want to see how our system works, I'm going to try and leave that video linked at the end of this video and possibly link it up here for you guys. But quite interesting. So for me, I pretty much always have multiple firearms in this system. So first things first, let's start with my BAT 6mm Dasher. Okay, special little rifle for me. I chose the caliber 6 Dasher. very low recoiling, and that's going to be my main precision rifle, competition rifle. Right, this next one is actually one of the coolest ones I have. This is also a Bat Machine action rifle. It's chambered in 6.5 Sherman short magnum. Now what makes this rifle really special, by the way, this is a hunting rifle. So think about it, it's a 6.5 caliber bullet, okay, so 6.5 millimeter or .264. So same bullet diameter a 6.5 Creedmoor would shoot, but it's got a much bigger case and it shoots that same bullet much faster. Now what makes this rifle very unique is the serial number. The serial number on this rifle is... So on second thought, it's probably not wise to give the serial number out on the internet because the internet's a weird, messy place. But the serial number is very special, and that's the first one that ever came off the machine. So it is literally number 0, essentially. So that's very cool. Now, a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to switch all of my custom bolt action rifles over to Bat Machine actions, and that's been an amazing journey for me. I did get to spend some time with these rifles in the past, but as I said, they got confiscated. But the next rifle is also a Bat rifle. It's chambered in 28 Sherman Magnum. I believe this one, I've got 2 of these calibers. I've got one that is a long-range competition rifle with a long 30-inch steel barrel. And then I've got another 28 Sherman Magnum, which is essentially, if you think about it, it's a 300 PRC case, neck down to 7 millimeter. It is stupid. It is way overbore. It's more powerful than a 28 Nosler. So this thing is going to kick like a mule, especially with a carbon fiber hunting barrel on the front. So a little bit nervous to shoot that. Haven't spent any time with the hunting one. So yes, I've got 2 of those. One is steel and the other one is carbon fiber. So those are those 2 taken care of. So the next rifle, surprise, surprise, is also a Sherman Magnum. It's a 30 Sherman Magnum, so 30 caliber, essentially a 300 PRC, slightly less body taper, more aggressive shoulder angle. This thing's a monster. Also haven't spent any time with it, and this is also a long range rifle. Now the barrel on this guy is a straight up thick boy all the way to the front. It's got literally 0 taper, so I'm super excited. And the reason I decided to go for that sort of girthy barrel is to just add as much weight as I can and as much rigidity to the barrel to ensure that I can follow up my shots and stuff better with the long range shooting. Okay, next is just a barrel blank that I still need to do one of the projects on, so we're not going to spend any time on that. Then I have multiple Glocks. Okay, I've got 2 Glocks. I've got a Glock 19 and I've got a 17 that are also fun to shoot. I've also got a Stag Arms 223 Remington semi-automatic AR. I'll show you guys a picture of that. Initially, when I got into shooting, this was my rifle that I went to, and I was like, you know, when I saw shooting on YouTube, and I was like, this is a sport that I could do without destroying my body, because I kind of have a reputation for hurting myself doing various endurance sports or motocross or whatever the hell I'm doing. If you're new here, I'm still in a moon boot, which hopefully comes off in 2 days. So initially, when I saw 3-gun, I was like, this looks like the coolest thing ever, you know, running around shooting stuff. How much cooler could it get? And so I set up my initial gear to cater towards shooting 3-gun matches. But I never really got into it. The 3-gun scene was very small here in Cape Town at that time, and perhaps it's something that we'll revisit in the future. So that's the Stag Arms 223. Then I've also got an Arsenal Firearms 9mm. Again, my competition 9mm, made in Italy if memory serves. Super fun little gun. I might get rid of these in the future, so as soon as our dealer license comes through for Impact Pro Shop, yes, we're absolutely doing that, so you will be able to get your bang sticks from us in the very distant future, probably a year or 2 from now, but we are busy with that process. So Arsenal 9mm. I spoke about the CZ, and then we've also got another card for a barrel here. Now, that is rifles that I already have licenses for. A few of those are in my possession, a few of those are sort of in that confiscated stage. Now, recently I've gone on a bit of a splurge and bought a few new firearms. Now, we're still going to get to my spreadsheet. We're not even in the spreadsheet yet, which is frightening if you think about it. So, at the moment, I've got a 6.5 PRC Howa, and then I've got a 300 PRC Howa that's also in the pipeline now. Those licenses have been applied through. Hopefully they come through soon. We're going to do a complete low development, initial setup, truing out to distance, and perhaps even do a hunt with 1 or 2 of those. So I'm super excited about those because I know you guys don't necessarily always have access or the funds to, you know, build a custom rifle on a Bat Action or something like that. So that's why I decided to get the 300 PRC and the 6.5 PRC Howa, because that's very much in most people's capabilities. Now, the goal of those is literally to do project videos, and then I will be moving them on to a few friends after they're all set up. So bound to be a good deal on that. Now, if you haven't joined the POI, the People of Impact, the guys supporting the channel and the effort on Patreon, this would be the time to do so, because those guys generally have first dibs on cool deals like this. So yeah, shout out to the People of Impact for supporting the channel. The link to sign up is down below, where you can basically help crowdfund the channel so that we can do videos like the 6.5 PRC Howa, so that we have the funds to do so. We've also recently invested in some new equipment, and we've got 2 hunts coming up, so I'm really hoping my foot's good, and we should hopefully make 2 more absolutely banger hunting videos for you guys before the year is out. Those hunts are in August, and we are already in August, so my foot needs to heal up pretty quick. Anyway, then we've also got multiple Canik pistols. Canik is new to South Africa. And guys, I'll tell you what, the SXF rifle that I've picked up, I got the gray one. I'll show you guys an image of that. And then I also got a black Combat Executive TP9 with a threaded barrel, because who does not want a threaded barrel on a 9mm? So I'm super, super pumped on the Caniks. I think it's amazing value for money. If you're looking at a new pistol in South Africa, I'm going to be shooting a lot of the Canik. You guys will be seeing pistol content on the channel soon. Full disclosure, Canik did approach me and said, Pete, we believe this is great value for money. Get hands-on with it and tell us what you think. Now, I do shoot quite a bit of pistol and stuff like that. It's not really a thing we've made much videos on because, you know, it's a long-range channel, but I am looking to diversify. Now, speaking of that, I've also picked up a Beretta Silver Pigeon with a 30-inch barrel, and we're going to be doing some wing shooting and stuff with that. So we've been busy. I do feel like I'm missing something. Right, let's get to the spreadsheet, shall we? I don't know what I'm going to call this video. It's going to have to be like 30 firearms in 30 minutes or something crazy. Now, finally, we've made it to our spreadsheet. I've got 2 Voodoo V22 Rimfire. So Voodoo is essentially the bat machine of Rimfire. So it's a custom Rimfire. The really unique thing about the Voodoos is they're a Remington 700 footprint. So let's say, for example, you have a chassis like the one you see behind me, but you only have a Remington 700 short action. You can buy one of these Voodoos, disclosure, crazy expensive, premium, but again, it's a custom rifle. And it fits on your Remington's short action footprint chassis or stock or whatever you have. So you can interchange those two and not have to buy a separate chassis system. Now, the one I'm going to use for sort of long range 22 stuff, and the other one will eventually replace the CZ455. Now, again, the guys on the POI are going to snap up this 455 in its LSS Rimfire like that. Obviously, I'll just keep the optic for myself. Now, those Voodoos were meant to be here in about 2020 already. The guys that were meant to import them, that imported my other rifles, completely cocked it up, and the Voodoos didn't show. Now, also on that shipment was a custom bat igniter built 223 Remington with a custom free bore. So I basically got my own reamer so that I could seat the heavy bullets out a little bit longer, and I put a 6.5 twist barrel on that guy. So I'm very excited for that. And again, as with my current 223 Remington, that 223 will fill that role and sort of be the main trainer rifle, if you will. So the next rifle is a Bat Machine TR65 Creedmoor. Now, if you guys know the NRL Hunter series, they've basically written the rules that you need to make a minimum power factor, and the 6.5 Creedmoor is essentially the lowest punching, softest recoiling caliber that you can have to make that power requirement. So I built myself a 6.5 Creed again. I'm so pumped about this specific rifle. My first ever custom rifle I ever had was a rifle called Alexa. She was chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, and that is the rifle that I essentially built this YouTube channel with, and the rifle that I sort of cut my teeth in the competition scene. And I'm very excited to go sort of full circle all these funny wildcat calibers and stuff and go back to a 6.5 Creed, and that's going to be used for NRL Hunter competition. Now, speaking of Creedmoor, I've hinted to this in the past. I've got some 22 Creedmoor builds in the works. Now, the first 22 Creedmoor has got a long 26-inch proof carbon fiber barrel on, and then I've got a second barrel for that guy, 16.5 inches carbon fiber, and I think in something like the HNT 26 is going to be, with the folding stock, it's going to be such a lekker little short, headshot machine little rifle, ultra lightweight, super accurate, almost no bullet drop to like 300 meters. That's probably one of the rifles that I'm the most excited for. As far as the other barrel, what am I going to do with that? The exact same thing. It'll just be a slightly larger package. Next. Now, while we're on the Creedmoor train, I've also got a Falcor Defense AR-10 chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor on the way. It's called the Omega rifle. I'm super pumped for it. It's going to be absolutely badass. You guys know these double taps that I was doing the other day with the 223? How cool would triple taps of a 6.5 Creedmoor be at like 1,000 meters? Because it's semi-auto. So super excited for that project, super excited to see how accurate these are, how much accuracy and precision, and hell, if there's a demand for it, maybe we can even go shoot a mess around match with an AR-10, because it would be awesome. Now, I've got another Falco rifle coming. This one is called the Phantom. It's basically a short SPR rifle, and that's chambered in 300 blackout. Also super excited to make sort of a, hit the fan type of, I can't say those words, I'm gonna blurt that out. A little, run and gun thing that'll be nice and short. Pop it in a backpack, leave it in the truck when you're going on a long trip or something like that, and you want a little bit more punching powder, because hell, this is Africa after all. So that's sort of where we are now. I'm thinking if I'm missing something. Oh, of course, I'm missing a few things. I've also got some long range builds in the process. I'm building on a bat machine. I'm building a 338 Ackley improved, and that's going to be, you guys know that long range precision competition you saw Skulk and I do, that he took the win on the other day. I'm going to build a 338 Ackley improved for that style of competition. Now, why wouldn't I go bigger? Because there's sort of a power factor there that limits you on the high end of what you can actually bring to these matches. So 338 AI is essentially about as much gun as you can bring while still being, semi-affordable to shoot. And then lastly, bigger is better, and we're doing a 37XC, okay? This is gonna be absolutely badass. I'll show you guys the 37XC versus a 375 Shytac, which you guys will be familiar with. That has become a very popular long-range round. Skulk and I are building matching ELR rifles in 37XC because we want to start doing, King of 1 mile, King of 2 mile type events. So we're super pumped for those two projects. That's also being built on a bat machine action. So overall, a lot of stuff happening. I actually don't know how I'm going to manage the brass and the this and the loading and everything for everything, because it's going to be a lot of stuff to juggle. A bunch of these rifles are going to show up soon at the same time, so be prepared for an influx of awesome new videos, and I can't wait to show you guys the whole process of getting them set up and reviewing them and making content with them and taking them hunting and doing all the cool things that you can do with cool firearms. Guys, I thank you very much for watching. I also want to thank you again. Me listing these things now, it is a realization. It's almost too good to be true that, just a few years ago, I was sitting in a job that I hated, driving to work on a Monday with like nausea in my stomach because I didn't want to go to work. And while what I'm doing now is absolutely a lot of hard work, and a lot of these firearms were provided to me for free, it's just I'm in such a good space with regards to that. And it's 100% thanks to you guys for watching these videos and supporting the channel and supporting our store, the Impact Pro Shop. So yeah, just humble gratitude. I can't thank you guys enough for making this possible. And from my side, my promise is I'll always make you the best possible content I can and take you with on these journeys and share my experiences with you and hopefully inspire you to either start your own business or, just be awesome, because I was in that space where I wasn't happy with my life, and now I've transitioned through an incredible amount of hard work to where I am now. And if I inspire one person to do that, that's sort of mission accomplished. So guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart again. Guys, and the people of Impact, thank you so much for making this also a possibility. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Shout out once again to MDT for providing the chassis systems for the firearms that are applicable to those sort of platforms. You guys absolutely rock, and I can't thank you enough too. Okay guys, peace and love. See you in the next one. Bye.